In this example, we're going to be talking about multi-leaders, or just those little sort of round arrows with the breakout circles on them, which help you sort of link areas of your drawing to something like this, which is a parts list that we've got down here. So I'll be putting some multi-leaders in for these 1 to 9 styles so that we can then link and show which item is which, and then show it in the parts list as well. Unlike dimensions, I'm not just going to jump in and do the dimensions first of all and then have to do a separate tutorial on multi-leader styles. I think we get the idea now that we've got text styles and dimension styles. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump in and we're going to say we're going to create a multi-leader style to begin with. So we can find that from this little dialog over here, this little arrow. So I'll click on that and up comes my multi-leader style manager. I'm going to create a new multi-leader style, and I'll just call this one I don't know, balloon call out. There we go, balloon call out, and it's going to start with the standard multi-leader style that we had before, except for this time I'm also going to make sure that it's set to be annotative. So I'll click on continue, and that again brings up my menu box so I can set my multi-leader style the way I'd like it to be. And the first thing I'm going to do is click on content over here, and from my multi-leader type, from my drop down, we're going to look at this and we're going to call it block. And from that block I'm then going to say just a simple circle. I think this is great, you can have a triangle. We're just going to have a straightforward circle. I think that's probably going to be a lot easier, and I'll set my color to be by layer as well. I always find that easier to deal with, and when I'm done I'll just press OK. I'll make sure that balloon call out is set as current, so now whenever I create a multi-leader it's going to be using that balloon call out style. So I'll close that down, and now we'll start creating some of our multi-leaders. So the first thing that I want to mention is this little keystone that we've got here, and you can see indeed number 1 is called keyway, so that's the thing that interests me most. So I'll bring my drawing so I've got a good idea and a good sort of focus onto that. Let's just move that around there, and then I'll make sure that I've got multi-leader style set to be balloon call out, and then I'll just click multi-leader. Now this has come up with a warning because in actual fact my my annotation scaling is set to 1 to 1, so that's fine, because what I'll do is I'll click on this and I'll say midpoint. Let's see, might need to change this. Let's turn on midpoint and turn off some of these more exotic items. There we go, and I'll go from midpoint of that line there, and we'll specify a leader location just there. So there we go, there's our first multi-leader, nice and simple, and it's asking me for a tag number down at the bottom here. So what I'll do is I'll type in 1 and press enter, and you can see that the number 1 appears in our tagline, and that's really it. That's as simple as it is to create multi-leaders. Everything from here on is doing exactly that. So I'll say multi-leader again, and I'll start with, I don't know, a line here, and I'll pull that over here and I'll specify my second location, and then down in my tag number I'll press 2 and enter. And all I need to do really is just keep going along from there. So I'll say multi-leader and I'll click on this object and for it to go, so we'll say there. Again, you can see that it's because of the angle I've moved more, this is sort of more leaning to the left as it were. You can see that the arrow sort of makes the multi-leader go to the relevant side, and I'll put 3 in there. Really I just keep going all the way down this assembly unit until I get to the 9th one, and then I'm done. One thing that is worth looking at is the fact that these aren't really aligned at the moment, so what I might want to do is to start thinking about aligning them. So we've got an option here called Align, So if I click on that, and you can see if I leave it for a few seconds, it sort of shows me where everything is for the align, sort of gives a little example. So I'll click on the align tool, and then I'll select the multi-leaders that I want to align. And there's the last one, number 1. Then I'll right click to stop selecting them. And then you can see we've got an option there, select multi-leaders to align or right click. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to align everything to this number 1 multi-leader here. So I'll left click on that one. And you can see as I drag my cursor around, I can either align these vertically or I can align them horizontally. Obviously I'm going to want to align them horizontally, so I can then get that horizontal line, left click, and you can see what we now have is these 3 elements here are all nice and neatly aligned. Absolutely brilliant. And really that's all we need to know about multi-leaders and creating multi-leader styles for your drawings.